Hello, welcome to the Soul Power Experience. Activate your soul power, live your infinite greatness, be your own hero. The learning video for session 11 of the Soul Power Experience is it projection? When we're talking about projection, I am not talking about those severe and traumatic things that we experience. But in my last video, I shared that when I attended a forgiveness workshop, I was supposed to list all the things that I didn't like about other people. And back then, that list was really easy to make. And then I turned the page. And the practitioner, the leader said, those are all the things that you don't like about yourself. I had never really experienced that I was projecting what I didn't like about myself onto others. It was a very important step in me owning my judgments and reactions. Remember, we need to take 100% responsibility, no blaming, no excuses. So I began to see the problem of projecting my issues onto others. Projection is what we do with our unresolved and difficult emotions. So in past sessions of the soul power experience, we've learned that our emotions are neither negative or positive. They just are. We need to learn from our emotions. We are strengthened and we are weakened by our emotions, but all of our emotions need to be honored. These tools are important in cutting through the illusion of the story we tell ourselves. And in hypnosis, remember that we're trying to find that true deep story that's deeper than anything we've believed about ourselves and the world before, which is really, really healing. Now, pain often leads us to important and meaningful personal growth, unless it doesn't. It's your choice. And I know that's why you're part of the Soul Power experience, because you really want to grow. So the goal of this session is to understand projection. Projection is taking our internalized thoughts and beliefs and perceptions and seeing them in each other. I will share two very effective meditation and journaling techniques that you can use in the future. One technique helps us identify our shadow or our inner projection, specifically what we're trying to hide. And the other technique addresses outer projection, when we project our pain onto others and blame them for how we feel. No one can make you feel anything. Feelings are self-generated. So we are not the voice in our head. We might reject the past, regret the past, and react to our present and worry about the future. But we can gain a sense of sanity by questioning our thoughts. As you see in these techniques, it's interesting that the opposite of what we're thinking is more often true than the story we tell ourselves. So first, let's look at the issue of shadow. Our shadow is whenever we tell ourselves what we don't want to be. As we grow up, we create our life. We focus on what works for us. We depend on the strong and positive aspects of ourself in order to survive and on a good day, thrive. But often these qualities have an opposite quality, which we ignore and hide because of shame and guilt. And you remember that shame and guilt are really low on the map of consciousness scale that we discussed in lesson 2. We deny the things that we don't like and spend our life trying to keep these things hidden. Imagine carrying a ball around for a day with the goal of not letting anyone see it. Imagine how much energy it takes each day to hide the things we do not like. And actually, we can't hide anything because who we are spills into our life one way or another. And when we deny our shadow, it spills into our life from our inner mind, our subconscious mind, in our thoughts and reactions. I've often thought what to do when just don't do it works. We all do things we don't want to do. What's driving us? Often our behaviors stem from the subconscious and unconscious programming, which is generational or from events in this lifetime or even from prior lifetimes. And by the way, I am super proud of you for transforming your life at the inner mind level. So in your binder or the PDF that I provide, when you look at the image and shadow worksheet, you circle the words that are true for you. The image words are obviously beneficial. These characteristics help us to be productive and kind humans, but also mark the shadow sides of this page. We're going to choose a few of these traits to work on during our one-on-one session, and you'll have the script that I'll be using in the post-session journal sheets to figure out the rest. You'll be amazed when we find the gift in your shadow traits. Your shadow is your teacher. Another important concept is I am that. We can look at others and observe their traits that we don't like. Rather than judging, we can say, I am that. We are capable of what others do and say, and vice versa. We're all one. We share the one story of humanity, past, present, and future. We're capable of doing and being the same as anyone else, so we no longer need to hide from each other. One of the techniques is based on a book by Debbie Ford. And in that book, she said, talk about a shift in perception. It wasn't about me getting rid of my anger or greed or bitchiness, but understanding those were gifts and integrating them. Our brightest light can shine only when we've accepted our darkness. And that's what we're going to work on. There's wisdom in every wound, and our pain is not personal, but belongs to every man and woman alive. So, for example, I am open-minded. The opposite that I'm denying is that I'm close-minded. The gift of being close-minded is when I'm more discerning and less gullible. I am loving. The opposite that I'm denying is that I'm not loving. The gift is when I am really, really bothered, when I am not loving, which makes me look inside to see what's going on with me. I'm bothered by being not loving, proves how much I value being loving. I'm strong. The opposite I'm denying is I'm weak. The gift of being weak is to acknowledge when we feel weak and we can rest or ask for help. I'm spiritual, very spiritual. The opposite is I'm not spiritual. The gift of being not spiritual is when I need to get my head out of the clouds and be practical and do everyday things like the dishes and laundry. We have expectations of ourselves and others. When we or they do not meet our expectations, we experience pain. We judge others as willing when we should see them as capable. In your materials, you'll see the diagram of the snake and rope story. A man walks at night along a path. He sees a poisonous snake barring his way and turns and runs in the opposite direction. As he returns along the same path in the morning, he finds a coiled rope on the ground. He realizes that in the darkness, he mistook the coiled rope as a snake, and it dawns on him. In the dark, it is hard to see the reality as it truly is. In the light of day, we can see more clearly. And that's really what hypnosis helps us do, is to be in the light of day and see things more clearly. And so when we react and assume everything around us is a snake, but we can actually see, actually, it's a coiled rope. You can't be afraid of a coiled rope. And so it really matters how we perceive things. And that's what our lesson's about. We live with snakes in our mind, but they're not real. The next technique I'll show you is called the turnaround question technique. And it turns our pain into a rope, and we can't see it as a snake again. So we make observations all the time, and it's okay to do so. As soon as these observations become painful or hurtful, we can tell ourselves we've turned into a judgment of some sort, and from which we're projecting our own pain. So pain is actually a signal for us that we might be acting in judgment. We can say, I want this snake to be a rope. The tool is to question our thoughts by asking, is it true? In the book Your Inner Awakening by Byron Katie, the author states, an unquestioned mind is chaos. Chaos causes suffering. When I believe my thoughts, I suffer. I suffer when I need something I don't have. If I don't have it, I don't need it. How do I know? Because I don't have it. We can learn to adore what is and accept what we have. When we are perfectly clear, what is what we want. So we will we'll be going through a technique by Byron Katie. We need to question our negative thoughts by asking, is it true? What's the story I tell myself? Is it true? We're to question anything that comes to our mind that opposes peace. Feelings are a gift. Our feelings reveal what we believe. Our feelings show us what's inside of our minds and bodies. We can live a life of peace and experience freedom from pain. We do not need to suffer. We naturally feel pain when we're wounded. The problem is that we feel that wound over and over and over again. Wouldn't it be better to turn our thoughts around and accept the disowned parts of us and let the feeling of pain flow out and away from us? We can look for what is perfect in what is. How can we shift our perception to see purpose, or at least trust we will someday understand the purpose, and in the meantime, live a life of freedom and love for all? So that's what our projection lesson is all about. I'm so looking forward to working through these journaling techniques. I've also created a third technique that's available to you, which is we take an image word and then we look up on Google the antonym, and we find which antonym of that image word is true. And then we learn to celebrate our image word and accept the opposite. And it's just a way to accept all parts of us and find the gift in what is positive and strong about us, and also just accepting what we might have denied before. And literally, when I wrote that third exercise, I cried because I just accepted myself so much more than ever before. So I knew that it was a really powerful technique. Well, I'm looking forward to our one-on-one hypnosis session coming up soon. I love you very much. I'm super proud of you for being on the 11th session of the Soul Power Experience. And to you, I say, namaste. The divine in me celebrates the divine in you. I'll see you soon. Take care.